Alright, what's going on, guys? My name is Mythic and welcome to another review, and finally my Elden Ring review. I'm dropping. I took a month to play this game, fully just pulled me in. Like it's something else. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it by now, but a lot of my friends have been asking me, should I buy it? Should I cop it? What do you guys think? Is it worth it? Is it worth a cop? Is it worth a pickup? And I'm telling you guys just right off the bat, yes, 100% yes, pick it up. Even if you are a casual player to the Souls games, the Dark Souls games, Demon Souls, whatever, like, you will enjoy this game. It is not no means easy for new people or casuals or anything, but once you give it a try, get used to the mechanics, and you need to have a bit of patience and persistence to play the game. It's not gonna hold your hand and walk you through the game, but I'm telling you right now, just as immediately off the bat, cop this. So what is this game about? What are we talking about? So you basically make your character, you come in here and you are a tarnished character. You've died, you've come back to life, kind of like, the story is kind of here and there, and that's one of my little like nitpicks with it. Like, you don't really fully understand it until you have to look into it. I had to look it up on Google to see what the story was. Basically, you want to fight through the world, gather great ruins to become an Elden Lord, in a nutshell. But this is one of my nitpicks to the story. They don't really explicitly tell you besides an opening cutscene, and it's kind of just like, even some of my friends were confused to what the story was. You kind of really do have to look into it and like replay cutscenes or rewatch things, because it might miss you the first time. So story with that, but it's not a huge takeaway from the game. The main core of the gameplay is, or the main core of the game is the gameplay. Is the gameplay. It's what makes Elden Ring. So what am I talking about? Y'all can see in the background here, I'm trying to fight a boss. I'm bringing in my friends. If I do edit in the footage or whatever, try to summon my friends. I'm still getting clapped. But the gameplay itself is following along those of a Dark Souls game, of a Demon Souls. Those same company, same everything that made the game. And I'm telling y'all right now, it is not for the faint of heart. You cop this game, you have to know that there is an immense challenge going into this game. You should do a little bit of looking at YouTube videos before, just like guide videos, what character you would want to make, what character best fits your play style, what character you think would work the best for you. A lot of people are saying if you want the quote-unquote easy mode, you go mage. I personally went vagabond because I like a shield and melee type character, so that's what I built my character around, and it is so cool. I'm telling you, the gameplay is what is this bread and butter. You can make so many different builds, you can make a mage build, but you can have that mage wielding katanas, you can have a katana, just dual katanas, you can have heavy greatsword builds. You can focus it just on magic, and there's so many different combinations I've seen, when it comes to just the builds and characters you can make, and that's just one small aspect of the game. I think this game has the biggest map I've probably seen. One of the biggest maps, not the biggest, but one of the biggest maps, because I kept just uncovering things. When I thought I uncovered the entire area, I realized there was an underground area, and at that point I'm just like, holy shit, they really added a lot, because it's not just the top, there's another underground to the map too. So when I realized, that blew my mind. And the boss designs in this game are amazing. Every boss feels unique and different, unless it's the same version of that boss, like the same name, and they've just come back or whatever. But it's like every other boss is unique and feels different. They attack differently, they move differently, the AI does feel intelligent sometimes. I was fighting, like, I got invaded, but it wasn't like a player, it was by just like an AI or a CPU, but they were dodge rolling and they were healing just like a real player would. So the AI is very intelligent, and I think they even had to patch some of the AI. Like, if you had a mimic tier, it was so good, and then they had to patch it, because of what a mimic tier basically mimics your own character. So you have like a ghost version of yourself fighting alongside of you, but that character was too smart, so they had to patch it. But every boss, I'm telling you, every boss is challenging. It feels hard. You have to play it a couple times to get used to their movements, their attacks, their skills, what they use. You got to memorize what they do, and then you're not going to go in there and beat them the first time unless you're a really experienced Souls player, really good Souls player, you know what you're doing, or your character's just randomly really high, over leveled for that boss. But like, these bosses will beat the hell out of you, and I'm telling you, that's where the persistence and patience needs to come in. If you're coming into this game and you're expecting, yeah, it's going to take me a couple tries to beat this boss, nothing big, nothing heavy, telling you right now, you do not come in with that mindset. You have to come in with the first attempt at a boss, you will probably lose, but you know you're just getting a feel for it. The next few attempts, you're learning the moveset, then you go from there, you know? And the feeling when you do eventually beat the boss is like out of this world, you know? I was getting slapped by Godric the Grafted, I think, and then, bro, as soon as I beat him, it was the greatest feeling, you know? And the bosses just get harder and harder, but there are some really interestingly designed bosses. There was one, forget his name, you go in a cave, he's invisible, and I saw the comments, it's like you need a special torch to see him, but some people don't even fight him with the torch, and you know, they fight him just looking at his footsteps in the puddles because there's water in the cave, so you can see his footsteps like making puddles. So that's how you kind of like have to move around. Even the just the regular enemies, you know, they're really, because some of them look really nasty to look at, but in a good way, you know, they're really amazingly designed. It feels like such an alive world, you know. It feels like this whole like give me like a post-apocalyptic feel. I don't know why, but there's this world and the bosses, and it's just everything makes it plays hand in hand, you know. And what I do like about this game too, you know, with the gameplay and everything, you have your one linear storyline, right, like your one main storyline, but then there are separate quest lines you could do, and they don't specifically tell you like you have to go here. You have to do this, like how, say in like a Horizon or something, they'll mark it on your map like you have a new side quest. That you won't know that, you know, you gotta listen to what that character says, and then you gotta go specifically about what that character says. They're not gonna mark it on your map or anything. You gotta figure it out yourself, and I kind of like that, you know. It's kind of like it gives you a more sense of control over your character. Like you approach how you want to approach, you fight how you want to fight, you do what you want to do, you know. And I like that. It's a grindy game, but it does pay off. It feels like you're actually progressing. You're going forward, and they have a new game plus right off rip. So once you beat the game, you can go into a new game plus, even harder enemies, you know. And it's like a never-ending cycle, but it feels worth it, you know. The grind feels worth it. And I'm telling you, all this, the map, the bosses, the characters, everything just flows smoothly together, you know. I was teetering on a 9 for this game. I was teetering on a 9 for the longest time because, you know, I was thinking to myself, you know, from a casual perspective, like, because obviously the Dark Souls, like, diehard fans, like the Souls diehard fans, this is 10 for them. This is obviously a 10 out of 10. But if you're a casual and you pick up this game, it might not be a 10 out of 10 for you, just specifically how hard it is, and you know how, like, it's weird to summon in friends, like, new players, and I might not get that, but, you know, as soon as I seen that underground world I was talking about, you know, it really did blow my mind, and I gave it a 10 out of 10, you know. And I didn't even start talking about the graphics yet. I'm playing on just prioritized frame rate for the PS5, but you put on the graphics, and even without the graphics like on priority, this game looks amazing. There's some shots of the tree, the Elden tree, I think it's called. Looks incredible. I've seen so many screenshots of this game without even I don't know if there's a photo mode, but this game looks incredible. The work and detail, you know, that's put into this game, the patches, the free content, it's just a breath of fresh air. Honestly, this whole game is a breath of fresh air, and this is what I'm telling you guys, gaming is not dead. Single player gaming is not dead. For those who are just playing COD and 2K over and over, you know, these are the type of games that remind you that there are games out there, you know, even if it's not the easiest of games and it's not your typical cup of tea. I've seen people that I never thought would play this game hooked on this game, pouring in hours into this game, you know. And like, I'm trying to look for nitpicks, but I couldn't really find it. The only thing I'd probably nitpick about the game is the summoning in the friends, you know, because you have to get a furrowed finger, you gotta place this down at a summoning point, you gotta put in a password, and they gotta spawn and do this, and it's like a whole thing, you know. And then if they die, they get kicked back to their world, and then you gotta die, and then you gotta bring them back in, and then, or if you die, everybody gets kicked, you know. I kind of wish they fixed that a little bit, but I guess that's how all the Souls games have always been, you know. But I feel like if a friend dies, then they should be able to respawn back in. But I guess that adds to the challenge, you know. It's not really that big of like taken off a point type thing. It's kind of just a small thing I wish they would kind of fix, but maybe that would make the game a little too easier if you just kept spawning in friends. Who knows, you know. But that is honestly my solid opinion. You will get dived into, if you really do give this game a chance and you approach it with an open mind, you know you're gonna get slapped up a little bit, you will like this game. You'll find yourself on YouTube searching up guides, searching up where to go to level up faster, what areas are good for farming. The world is so immersive. It's like we got Elder Scrolls 6, but it's like Skyrim meets Breath of the Wild. It's with a little bit with that Dark Souls in it, a little bit, like a lot. it's like that all came together and had a baby, and I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. That is my final rating. Like, if I had to give it a full rating right now for you guys, 10 out of 10. I'm telling you, I was teetering on a 9 out of 10, but nah, it's definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. The more I played it, the more I fell in love with it. The more, even though the story isn't that strong, I don't think it takes away too much from the game. I think this game is definitely a lock for Game of the Year if God of War doesn't come in and blow everything out of the water. But definitely this is the Game of the Year we're looking at. I'm telling you guys right now, go pick it up. I'm pretty sure everybody who plays this will enjoy it as long as you approach it with an open mind. Just know it's going to be difficult. That's all you got to know. Just know it's going to be very difficult, but you can beat those bosses as long as you grind and you don't just rush in there with nothing, because I've seen a lot of people fighting that tree sentinel at the beginning of the game. Apparently that was put there just to teach you to go grind and then come back, but a lot of people are super stubborn and they'll just fight it to the end. And if you want to learn about that, there you go. But I'm telling you, this game's Game of the Year. 10 out of 10. Pick it up right now if you can. That's all I gotta say for this game. I'll be doing the Lego Skywalker Saga review soon, probably in the next week or soon. That game is heat. It is fire. You guys should pick that up too if you're Star Wars fans. It is worth every penny. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this Elden Ring review. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. If you want to see more, just hit the subscribe button below. And thank you so much. And remember, they call me Mythic.